You forgot to say I teach goal setting too, along with time management, stress management, and all those other things. Anyway.
So he's always cut, start again, cut. I'd have to say cut. He's like cuts, which we can. He'll edit everything.
Why didn't y'all tell me to take this crazy break? It's been
great.
rattling the whole time.
Rita, I gotta tell you something. I just love you. I just love you. You're amazing.
I'm too old for you. Don't you get anything going.
All right. I just love you.
You get a picture of that and send my husband. I bet he's going to be on that next flight. I've taken real good care of him.
Just love
He's gotten 5 holes in one. I got him on 4 golf courses. I got him on Augusta. I got his butt on Augusta. I've had men offer me a sports car, diamond bracelet. Get me on Augusta, Rita, and I'll do anything.
Oh, man. So excited. We have Rita Davenport here, and she was the president of a company huge in this industry, author, motivator, coach, speaker, trainer, just on TV shows, everything. I'm just gonna actually read something. I was pulling up your bio.
Oh.
And I gotta read this. I don't know if you've read it in a while, but
no.
this is like I would have to live 5 lifetimes to have this bio. Okay, so it says, as a seminar leader, award-winning keynote speaker, humorist and author, Rita is an internationally recognized expert in principles of success, secrets of network marketing, time management methods, goal-setting techniques, creative thinking, and building self-esteem and confidence. Her career ranges from social work and teaching to broadcasting and writing. She has been featured in People magazine, The Wall Street Journal, and countless of other business magazines. She produced and hosted her own award-winning television show in Phoenix, Arizona for 15 years and was viewed over 32 million homes on her cable television show, Success Strategies. She has appeared in over 200 radio television shows, including ABC, Good Morning America, NBC, Today Show, Og Mandino, Dr. Joyce Brothers, Tom Hopkins, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, Mark Victor Hansen, Tony Robbins. I mean, we could just go, but my battery's going to die. It's so the phone is so we got to jump in.
And you keep that up, and my head is bigger than my butt right now. Just keep that up, Troy. I'm telling you, I didn't know I'd done all that. It's amazing.
Well, I got to ask you. So how did you get involved in this industry of direct sales?
Well, because I had friends and family that didn't have the, I guess you would say, the gifts or the blessings or the exposure to have a successful life and to make a good income. And I didn't know anything else to tell them. And I'll tell you something else. When I would get through speaking for an organization, and maybe a driver would take me to the airport, or somebody, a handler would be helping me, and they'd say, I hate my job, Rita, what can I do? Well, what could I say? Oh, well, you can be a keynote speaker, or you can write a book, or you can have your own television show. Hey, you can do an infomercial. I didn't know what else to tell people that were miserable. And I'll tell you, most people are pretty miserable in their job. When you work for somebody else, you make about 25% of what you're worth, basically. And people don't really love what they do. You can ask people, how many would do it for nothing? Don't tell anybody, but I would do it for nothing because I love what I do. But most people aren't like that, and I didn't know what to say that you could do. I couldn't tell somebody. And years ago, my brother, who was a cop in Nashville, Tennessee, used to say, you need to get into network marketing because you'd be good at that. And I went, really? But until I realized that it was an answer for me to help other people, because I'm a former social worker, and let me tell you, Troy, welfare does not work. So you can think about it all you want to, but I know I've been there. I've been poor, raised poor, and I've worked as a social worker, and I know that doesn't work. But this business does work. Anybody, it's a level playing field. I mean, anybody that wants it bad enough, that never gives up, doesn't get the rejection. Like, I teach people the 4-letter word next. And I learned it from my son in the 3rd grade. I picked him up from a skating party. He said, Mom, he said, I asked little Nicole to skate with me. And I thought, I bet that little girl just said no to him, broke his heart. And I was so worried. I said, Scott, what did she say? Thinking to myself, if that heifer hurt his feelings, I'm going to be so mad. I said, what did she say? And he said, well, Mama, she said yes. I said, Scott, what if she'd said no when you asked her to skate with you? And he said, well, Mama, there's 17 other girls in my class. So I tell people that right now in this country, there are 260 million people that's never even heard of direct sales or network marketing. The entire industry, if this is what we're talking about, it's only 10% of Walmart. It is so small, it's so unsaturated and so untouched compared to where it's going and what it can be with people like you and others that are in this business that see that you're making a difference. You're not just making a living, you're changing people's lives. And I don't know many jobs, 8 to 5, that really change people, unless it's, medicine, law enforcement, military, things like that. But most of us, we're not really impacting people the way this industry does. And I got so excited. I don't know how people sleep at night that know about this business and how it can change the world. It can completely give people an opportunity that felt helpless, like, oh, I'll never have anything. I'll never drive a nice car, live in a big house or anything. I'll never have security. I'll never be able to share and give. So I get so excited about the business because I see lives like yours. Look what it's done for you. It's amazing. Congratulations, by the way.
Well, congratulations on your success. I mean, I think that's what people love about this, is that they can make an impact and a difference.
Absolutely.
That we can, take something and really and help people out. And talking to you, and I got a chance to listen to you in an interview prior to this, and you were just saying that's probably your favorite thing, is to be able to change and impact people's lives.
I got so emotional at dinner tonight with somebody that, and by the way, I cry easy. My tear ducts are attached to my bladder. I might want to say that right now.
Get the Kleenex
and we have a lot. I can't.
We both cry. We're both crybabies.
We are. But this young man, he was homeless. He had lived in a car for 2 years, and if you could see his life now. His wife got into network marketing, and he supports and works the business. But he said, it was in a terrible accident. He said, he was telling all the things he had heard me say in speeches, and he said, I just never gave up because I just remembered what you said, that if I wanted it bad enough, I could do it. I have to believe, I have to have faith, I have to have confidence, I have to have desire, because desire is the bottom line for all of this. You go from desire to gratitude, from wanting it to getting it and then sharing it. But I just got so choked up when he said, I was homeless, Rita. Do you know anything else? Because, you see, nobody says you have to have a certain degree. You have to be bilingual. You have to do that. No. It's just the desire, and get out there and do it, and just know every day whatever I'm looking for is looking for me. And every time you open your mouth, money goes in or out by what you say about this industry and your business, and how you feel about the person that you're bringing into the business, that you really do want to help that person. You're sincere. I'm going to make a difference in your life. I'm going to show you what to do. Just let me guide you. It's exciting.
Rita, you are so sincere. You have one of the biggest personalities in this business, and I'm getting excited. So I'm getting close. So I'll just tell you this: is that for those of you who don't know, and I thought I was going nowhere in life. I know you told a story about that you thought you had a learning disability. It turns out she's like this. She's brilliant. They're like, what are you talking about? She's brilliant. Yeah. I do have a borderline learning disability, and it hurt me that I couldn't. Graduate college with all the teachers I have in my
family. I never passed my SATs, by the way. I never passed my SATs, but I got through college in 3 years with honors. But it wasn't because I was smart. So Tori, go ahead.
No, that's good. And it's what I like is that, I remember in the 80s, and I was young, and I just remembered that there were so many people growing up that there was just one person working in the family. And now, there was a lot of stay-at-home moms that they could raise the kids. Yeah. And now I look at it, and even 2 incomes is not enough in this world. 2 incomes, it's so sad. 2 incomes are not enough. And when people say, then what do you do? What is the answer? Mm-hmm. Do you go get your real estate license? What do you do? To me, this is the best answer. Do you what do you feel?
How can anybody not see this? I mean, when you see someone, my story, your story, you don't have to be a tower of intelligence. You can't be lazy, but you have to really work this. But I don't know any reason anybody wouldn't do it. First of all, the greatest part about this industry that we haven't mentioned is the social interaction. Oh. See, if it wasn't this industry, I wouldn't know you. Do you know how lonely life would be without the people that you meet in this? So you have the social interaction, you have the travel, you have the recognition. Everybody needs that recognition. People work harder for praises than they do for raises. And I mean, like I teach people, tip the maid. We're in a hotel right now. Always tip the maid. I mean, if it wasn't for the grace of God, you'd be cleaning those commodes instead of using them, and changing those sheets instead of sleeping in the bed. So I say, tip the maid. Be nicer than necessary. And every time you come up to somebody, say something nice about it. Even if you have to make it up. I mean, sometimes you do have to kind of make it up. But I mean, just say something nice, and you just can see how people feel. Do you know the power you have to change this world and to make a difference in this world by your own kindness? But first, and I haven't said this, you got to like yourself before you see love and give love to anybody else. You got to first love yourself, and that's hard because we've all made mistakes and we're all guilty of this and whatever. First, give forgiveness. That's, by the way, I just talked to a neuroscientist, and he said the number one mental step for helping your brain is to forgive yourself and forgive other people. So forgive. People have done things to you. I know they have, me too. But forgiveness. But then just look at the world and say, I don't know anything better. I don't know how people that are in the business can sleep at night knowing that Australia is like 8 hours away, and you could be calling up somebody over in England and all over the world that needs this business, and they can just have such a life of abundance and be able to share and give and enjoy. I'm just so grateful for the industry. I love the industry so much, but it is so untapped. And it is still just a great area for people to build.
And it's so hard to get that across to people. When people get in this business, it is about the money. They get in about the money. But what keeps people in this is they're growing, the relationships, the quality of people they get around. Being part of a cause.
But it's a personal development business. See, if you're not reading and listening to CDs, I'm in a rolling university in my car. I'm listening constantly. You want to be green and growing. I'm constant every day. At least 20 minutes I'm reading on personal development. But the industry is about personal development and exposing you to things you would never know about otherwise.
I see your mind is like a muscle; it has to be going all the time. So let me ask you. Okay, so you're talking to two people. I mean, you've had massive success, and you became recognized in one company that you became kind of where it was like Rita. And what is awesome now is you're a servant leader to not just one company, but to the industry. So this industry, how awesome does it feel that you can still help the company that kind of you made your brand with, but yet you can go out and just help everybody, and your platform is just so huge, and it's growing and growing and growing.
I have a little sign over my desk, and it says, God is watching, give him a good show. And so even when I was in the one company, I would help people that were in other success lines, and people say, you don't understand, that's not your success line, you're helping this one. It didn't make any difference, because what goes around comes around. What you give is what you're going to get. So always, figure that out. And with every failure, with every adversity, there's an equal or greater amount of good that comes from all that. You learn from failure. You learn more from failure than you do success. But what feels good is just to go around the world and talk to people, and so that I can say, okay, you gave me this, and I'm sharing it, and I'm giving it, and I'm helping. And I just want you to someday say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. That's all I'm asking for. So I have a real a sense, a tug at my heart to make a difference, not just make a living. So that's my
Well, I just love it. I always say when you increase your standard of living, you increase your standard of giving. And that's what I love about this industry is you have a chance to impact people's lives financially. But there are people out there that are looking at a couple seasoned people, okay? And what tip can you give to a new person? And I heard you say a couple things, that what people need to start with. The number one thing, you were talking about courage. Can you talk, because there's some new people that just don't know how to get started.
Okay, first of all, you have to have a positive mindset, and you have to have affirmation. An affirmation is a positive statement, as if a goal has already been achieved. You forgot to say I teach goal setting too, along with time management, stress management, and all those other things. Anyway, but the one thing that I would say, first of all, is just keep saying to yourself, I can do this. I got to interview Muhammad Ali several times, and he taught me the greatest affirmation, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. I get ready to go out on stage, I go, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. Well, of course I know I'm not the greatest, but I tell myself that, because your mind only knows, I've really done a lot studying about William James, the father of psychology, that you can alter your life by altering your attitude. But hang around successful people. And if you don't have the chance to hang around people like you and the other people that are rocking it in this business, you can listen to what they're doing, and you can grow even by listening to what they say, because that's what I've done. I've spent my life learning. I got to interview Norman Vincent Peale, Earl Nightingale, the people that I spent my life interviewing, that I got to tell the stories of what they said to me. And it was so basic. Oh, I wish I had more time to tell you these stories. But anyway, it was just so basic. But I had, because I was raised in poverty, I was raised being told, don't try to get above your raising. Ain't nobody in this family hotshot ever graduated from high school before. Don't think you're going to go on to college or even graduate from high school. And I was bullheaded and determined I wasn't going to be stuck with that mindset. And I got above it, thank goodness.
So you're electrifying. When you are introduced and you come out and the speaker, and I always say, like, if you're good, you don't need a great introduction. Mm-hmm. And if you're bad, a great introduction is not going to help.
Yeah.
But when you come out, you're just right off the bat, you got people laughing, you got people that are on the edge of their seats. Anyone leaving is coming right back. Were you always this good as a speaker?
Well, I always use humor because, first of all, the retention rate is about 75% greater if you learn something while you're laughing and happy and having a good time. So I start out with humor. And I'm very down to earth, by the way, and I have a southern accent, and nobody could think she could be very intelligent and sound like that. I know that, so I kind of slip things in. But I think looking at your audience, and look at your audience and just say, I could just lick you in the face like a puppy. I love every one of you. And I really do love my audience. I mean, for people to hire me to, train their people, I'm so grateful because I love what I do. But I look at the audience and I think, if one or two people, you just get one idea that changes your life. If I can do that as many times as possible, and as you know, public speaking is the number one fear in the world. Number two fear in the world is death by fire. People would rather burn to death than to do what I do for a living. I don't get hazardous duty pay or something. I don't know. But I do start out with a little bit about my background, and I make them laugh, and then I'll hit them with an idea. And because, basically only about 17% are really interested in what you have to say. I say about 40% somebody drug them in, and then my speeches are somewhere between religious and risque. And I say the rest of you are having sexual fantasies, so let's just get on this and listen up right now. I know I shouldn't be saying that. That's not going to do any favors. But anyway, I did interview Billy Graham one time, and I asked him what amazed him most about life. And by the way, Billy Graham did not develop the cracker, in case you don't know who Billy Graham is, the most famous preacher in the whole world. Yeah. And he said the brevity of life, and so every day you got to live your life to the fullest, because the days are numbered. So what was the question? Public speaking. Well, just be yourself, because you are going to mess up trying to be somebody else, and be yourself and be honest. And being transparent, using some humor, but kind of putting yourself down, not that that's the most fun thing, but I think that people look at him, how much he's making, no wonder he's out there, he's a hottie, because, but tell them what you went through to get where you are so they can relate to that.
They identify with weakness.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I think that it's so great to hear, and I've heard the best speakers in the world, and I'm so grateful to learn from them. But yet I don't try to be them. I still try to be myself. And maybe I should not try to be myself, but I am myself. And I think just being natural. People have told me, you are so natural and so down to earth, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what you get. What you see is what you get here.
When you enjoy what you do, it's a lot easier. Yeah. And you enjoy what you do.
I do.
You're such an entertainer.
I absolutely do.
But content, you have great content. And I think when you have great content, doesn't that give you confidence because probably when you get an hour to speak or whatever it is, this probably you could go another 3 hours.
I got 12 hours of internalized material.
It's like, I don't want to go.
A long night, son. Yeah. I don't know when you're going. You just have rest here. I've got 12 more hours to share with you. No, I do have everything from time management, stress management, goal setting, strategies of success, all of these things that I have felt so good about sharing with other people, because what good is it to have anything that you don't share it? it's kind of a waste. So
we're at an event, you're the keynote speaker. And I don't know if you know this, but I have to follow you. Okay? I have to follow you.
Bless your heart.
I mean, what is that? That is like so unfair. Why do I have to follow? Why can't someone else follow Rita?
Because I said I wasn't going to follow you. I said, don't put me after Troy.
No, it's any advice for me? I gotta, what am I gonna do after Rita gets up?
You're not gonna like what I'm gonna say right now. I'm gonna tell you. So this will be edited out. You'll never see this part. I tell you to dress nicer than your audience when you go out, Troy. I mean, I see people, by the way, I got me some of those pants, that are shredded, everybody, the distressed jeans. And my little granddaughter said, Nana, your breeches are broken. So I didn't wear those anymore. After a 4-year-old would say my breeches were broken. But I would say, look at your appearance on stage. I know that the casual look is all about it. I mean, look, you're just very natural, down to earth cat. And I know that appeals to most of the people. But I will tell you that it still is good for you to be as nicely dressed as possible, because you want to raise the bar. You sometimes we want to kind of get down to that level. Not exactly. You want to raise the bar. And you can afford to dress as nice as anybody. And I think that you probably wish you hadn't asked me that question. But I can't help it. That's one of the things that somebody asked me to coach him.
No, we want you to be real. That's what we love about Rita. Is real. Right off the plane, she's real. Yeah. And not only that is, and we're on that. Right off the plane, we were waiting for you, and we hadn't met. Right, it was our first time meeting. But there were some fans of yours that work with me, right? Uh-huh. And what I was so impressed is, rather than okay, I'm going to get to the hotel and get to the resort. But you stuck around and gave them advice. They're asking for advice, and you stuck around and you gave it to them, and you gave them time, and you looked them in the eye, and you weren't in a rush, and you gave them all the time, and you made them feel loved and special.
I'm humbled when somebody asks me that. You just have to know, when you grow up and you're ashamed of where you live, and you have an outhouse, and your daddy's driving a 48 Plymouth with no grill on the front, and he's working 2 jobs. I mean, we really were poor. And when somebody wants, I get emotional. I mean, how could you say no? I did one time. I stood in line for 2,000 photographs with people. 2,000. But I wasn't going to leave until everybody got one. And in this business, this gives you a chance to follow up with people, check on them, encourage them, motivate, inspire by your example. The best thing you can do for your team is to be at your best, always. And be nicer, as I've said, be nicer than necessary. Find something nice to say to everybody you come in contact with. Well, I was going through the ticket counter at the airport. Be nicer than, I have a little sign on my desk. Be nicer than necessary. But I gave the ticket agent, I said, you look just like my nephew. Give me a hug. Well, I don't think anybody you need 3 hugs a day just to keep from being weird, by the way. And if you're not getting 3 hugs a day, it's a good reason you don't deserve them, because you're not giving them. You're only going to get in life what you give. But I gave the ticket agent a hug. I mean, it's just that I just think it's so fun to love on people and make them feel better about themselves, and they'll never forget you when you make them feel better about themselves. It's important.
Well, and I think that's what people love about this industry, is that when they get in and they set goals, that there's just nobody cheering you on in life. There was a study that said after you get married or after you graduate, that's probably the last time people clap for you. Oh. But here we're always encouraging people.
That's amazing. Because I teach people to give standing ovations. I gave standing ovations to my little boys when I was potty training them. I think standing ovation, I am really big about standing ovations, by the way. So I always say at the close of my speech, well, before I end for my standing ovation, so I let them know I'm expecting one. What you expect, believe in, picture you get. Yeah. But I always say, before I close for a standing ovation, but give people recognition and cheers. It's so important. Yeah, it is. All
right, so we're going to get you out of here. But we've got 2 final questions. What final tip can you give somebody starting out in the business? And that's the second to the last question.
Okay. Starting out in the business is talk to everybody you know. People say, how did you choose who to offer the business to? If they fogged a mirror, if they were above ground, they were a candidate for me to talk to. Nobody was too big. I would do business with people that did business with me, and I would tell them. If it was my dry cleaners, it was a drugstore, it was a guy cleaning my carpet, I would offer the plumber. I was down underneath while the guy was doing the plumbing. He said, "Ma'am, if you'll just wait till I finish up this, I'll talk to you about that business." But every single person that I came in contact with, no, not too big or not too low.
Right.
I was at a convention once and I sponsored the security lady that was in the middle of the arena, and nobody had ever. I said, "Anybody offer you this?" No, nobody. I said, "Well, let me tell you about it." I was just, I mean, so I would just say, talk to every single person you come in, and it's all. If they say no, then think of the 4-letter word next and move on, because it's just a practice. That was just a practice.
Yeah.
So that would be.
That's great. And Jesus didn't prejudge anyone, so why prejudge it?
Yeah.
So finally, okay, people are going to want to know, where do they find more of you? How do they, look you up? Is there books that you recommend that they can read? Is there a website or social media? Where can they find Rita Davenport?
I have a website, and by the way, I have some pretty darn good CDs and DVDs and books. And I get great feedback from them. So it's www.ritadavenport.com. So that's where it is. Where people order.
Well, thanks.
And I autograph it. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on. Rita Davenport, she's one of the best speakers, trainers, coaches, mentors, goal setting, anything else I'm leaving out? I'm leaving out a ton, all right? But Rita Davenport, so fortunate to have her here. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been an honor and a pleasure. I'm inspired by you. So you give more than you get, believe me. You're great.
Thank you. Rita Davenport. Light it up. And people just love you right away. And it's being so funny and natural, and I just feel like you have a way about yourself that you can deliver a message that nobody else can deliver. You can say things that nobody can say the way you say it. And I just feel like now that I had a chance to meet you in person, and I'm not shell-shocked, I know, we're meeting all kinds of people, okay?
Yeah.
But you truly just are a giver. You're truly natural, and I just, you have a huge personality, and I think that helps when you generally care.
Oh,
So.
I'm glad because I do care. Now you're making me emotional.
So I don't know if
All right, with that, can we save a little for the camera?